Hey everybody, it's Brett Rump from the Sports Rush. No show today, but I wanted to jump on and kind of give you my update and my report on what's happened with the Purdue Boilermakers because today they suffered a massive loss, big loss, a 7 foot 2 inch loss with Isaac Haas suffering a broken elbow against UC Fullerton today. This is big for the Boilermakers. Now, I think there's a couple of reasons that Purdue would be fine without Isaac Haas, but at this time of the season, it's very difficult to overcome the loss. And the reason is Isaac Haas is a nightmare for opposing coaches. You've got to start your game plan, almost finish your game plan with how are you going to defend Isaac Haas? Do you have anybody on your team that can match up with him one-on-one? The answer 99% of the time is no. That means you've got to provide help. Who do you play off of? Matthias, Vincent Edwards, Carson Edwards. I mean, who do you provide help in the post with Isaac Haas? The game plan for an opposing coach always started with Isaac Haas. And Purdue used Haas in a perfect way where they tried to get the ball down to the block, and if he was doubled, he was a good enough passing big man to get it out of trouble, and the Purdue Boilermakers were unselfish enough to get it to the right man to get the shot up. Unfortunately, now what you're dealing with is you're dealing with Purdue having to change their style, and you have opposing coaches that now have the luxury of really game planning for Purdue's three-point shooting, much more than being concerned about what Purdue's going to do around the basket. Matt Harms is probably a guy you can match up with one-on-one, even though he's taller than Isaac Haas. He's not the same threat with the physical presence that Isaac Haas provided for the Boilermakers. I think what's underrated with Isaac Haas is when you lose him, you don't just lose the points and the rebound production, because let's face it, he wasn't a big rebound guy. But the fact that he drew the attention on the box out and left other guys for Purdue open to get rebounds makes a big difference. He helped his teammates in that regard. He also helped his teammates in the way that you had to game plan to double him down low when he got the ball. And being a passer, number one, a good passer, left three-point shooters with open looks. But also, he was even strong enough that if double team came late, he was strong enough to go to that over-the-shoulder little jump hook, which he really has perfected over the last year or two, and be able to score, especially in one-on-one situations against smaller defenders. So Purdue loses that weapon. Now, the timing is the big thing, because I think if you lose an Isaac Haas, there was enough perimeter talent on Purdue that you could play a five-wide offense. You could open up the lane. You could use penetration and kick out. You could use penetration to the basket to finish with layups. I think Purdue could run a different style of offense and probably be pretty effective with their personnel if they'd had time to work on it. I'm not sure if Purdue's prepared to run a different style of offense now that they've lost Haas, because he was the key to their offense. They ran things through him, throwing down to the low block and kicking out, throwing down in isolation. There was so much that they ran off Isaac Haas that I'm not sure Purdue can just change their style overnight and become a perimeter-oriented team and a five wide all around the perimeter and try to create space and lanes for your guys to drive. I think it's a big blow to the Purdue Boilermakers. I still think they're a very talented team that in transition could still probably do damage and maybe get a win or two. But when you look at the potential matchup, especially down the road, if Purdue's able to survive long enough to get to Villanova, that was the one huge advantage that I think Purdue had over Villanova, because Villanova's guard play is so good. And I just, if you had Purdue coming out of that bracket, I feel sorry for your bracket, because I think this is going to make it very tough for the Purdue Boilermakers. And it's just one of those breaks Purdue Boilermaker fans, I think, worry about every year. They always feel like there's some reason they can't seem to escape that Sweet 16. And I think maybe this is pretty tough news to play through this year too. So really a tough blow for the Purdue Boilermakers, losing Isaac Haas with the broken elbow. Hopefully surgery goes well, he recovers quickly, and he's able to continue with his professional basketball career. But this to happen to a senior, really, really tough for the Boilermakers. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of the basketball games. Hope your bracket's doing better than mine. Mine had a couple of big blows to it. In fact, the Arizona game just kind of crushed one whole side of my bracket. So I'm going to kick back, say, what the hell, and still enjoy the weekend of basketball. We'll talk to you later. Don't forget, we got coverage of the Blackhawk Braves taking on Southwood at the Huntington Semi-State. We'll be on the air at 3:50 tomorrow on Saturday with all of your coverage at ESPN Radio, 1380 and 100.9 FM. Till then, have a great sports weekend.